the #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.
Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to episode 243 of Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments with me, your host, Richard Bexon. Today, we're going to be talking with Casey Halloran. We've had him on the podcast probably over a year ago. He's the CEO of the NAMU Travel Group and Costa Rican Vacations, one of the country's region's largest luxury travel company. So today we're going to be talking to him about seeing what's happening in tourism, as tourism is always the main driver of investing and real estate in Costa Rica. So I always like to say, if you want an idea of what's going on in real estate and investing, just take a look at tourism, and it will be a good indication for you of kind of what's going on there. Remember, guys, if you're looking to do anything here in Costa Rica or just want some advice or some contacts, we're a sucker for helping people. Again, we help people invest here, purchase real estate, build, construct, project manage. We've also got some investments available as well. We're working on some stuff in Aranao and also Manuel Antonio, which are soon to be finished. So if you do want to chat with us, feel free to reach out, info@investingcostarica.com. That's info@investingcostarica.com. But let's get straight into the podcast. Good afternoon, Casey. How you doing?
Doing good, Richard. How you been?
Good, man. It's been a while since we've had you here on the podcast, but I think it's about time.
Okay. Yeah. Ups and downs.
Exactly. I think, yeah. Well, that's my first question, I always love to ask. I mean, there's quite a bit of volatility out there at the moment, and I think that's probably here to stay. But I mean, what have you been seeing happening in the tourism world?
Well, hopefully the VIX chart exploding 5-year highs isn't here to stay. But yeah, I think since probably the US election and right up to the tariff tantrum of this week, definitely a lot of volatility. And I think that always just shows up in high-end transactions as people stop and think a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what we're seeing in the market. And I think what I'm sensing also is after a 3-year miracle run, a lot of the seller side, meaning the hotels and whatnot, have been probably a little resistant to reprice. And and it's also hard in Costa Rica to reprice right now because the exchange rate's so unfavorable. So I think it's just going to take a while for people to get used to, dare I say, the new normal.
Yeah.
So demand down a little bit.
What do you think Q1, how much do you think demand's going to be down in Q1?
Overall, when we look backwards, I would say 7-8%.
Okay. So it's pretty close to, what we were predicting at the end of last year anyway.
Yeah. And again, benchmarking against a 3-year miracle run, expecting that to continue feels a little bit greedy.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
back to work,
That's it.
Rocky IV, barn sit-ups.
I mean, can
you sing a song while I work out in the back?
I love doing business in those times, to be honest with you. I mean, when it's all good, it doesn't feel right.
Look, if I think of Richard Bexon's happy place, it's haggling in an Egyptian bazaar. I think for a lot of us, we like a little bit of, bullets and smoke and grenades going off. So if you're an intermediary who really adds value, when are you going to really add value in tricky times? Oh, I guess my dog's joining. So I'm excited about it. I think it takes a while for everybody to adjust this isn't easy anymore.
Yeah. And I think it's probably going to take the rest of this year for that.
I'd say at least another quarter.
Yeah.
Until everybody readjusts to the fact that there's probably a significant increase in supply with all the Airbnbs that you and your cohorts have helped build, plus a little bit less demand. So more supply, less demand. We kind of need a price reset.
Well, and it's about time, but to be honest, because again, some of these prices are absolutely, I paid last year $250 to stay in a hotel that I know pre-COVID was like $100.
That's the thing that people have forgotten, right? And again, every now and then I revisit the rate cards of all of our suppliers, and some of the stuff feels a little grabby.
Well, I did not get that value, if that made sense. I did not feel that I got $250 worth. I felt like maybe I got 150 and I was being gouged.
Well, isn't that what they say? Price is what you pay, value is what you get. And I do get concerned sometimes, specific to Costa Rica, that the value proposition may have gotten a little out of whack.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. We always talk about like how tourism influences real estate, and you have people in tourism on one side and people of the real estate on the other side, and they never really talk. How do you think one affects the other?
I think that they're probably Siamese twin levels of interconnected, maybe more than we even really understand. Um, Certainly, like most folks, I came here on vacation first,
Yep.
like 26 years ago. So the vast majority of your future foreign investors, let's be honest, that's a pretty good chunk of who's moving the luxury market, at least outside of San Jose. Most of those people came here on vacation. So you come here on vacation, you fall in love with it, you wonder if you could live here. Then you buy something, and that's usually a second home. So when you're not here, you want to rent it. And who do you rent it to? You rent it to tourists.
Yeah.
And so these things are inextricably tied, at
And
least for now.
and it's amazing how people in real estate and development do not speak to tourism and do not look at the tourism data at all. Like they don't look at any of it. It's crazy.
It is fascinating, right? I mean, there certainly are exceptions, right? You have projects that have blended the two,
Yep.
all of your major branded stuff. You've got what the Four Seasons, the JW Marriott at the Pinilla, the Westin project at the Conchal,
Los Sueños.
Los Sueños Resort. Geez, now we're getting to the short list, right? Las Catalinas. It's not a, it's the,
Mega developments.
yeah, I mean, where, you've got to have some serious bucks to get started.
Yep.
We've got a lot of it on the micro level. I think there's a lot of small hotels that have sold extensions, villas or apart hotels or even managed units. Um, but yeah, I mean, Costa Rica is not cheap anymore.
No, no. I mean, I always just say to people, look, if you look at hotel data and you look at tourism data, it's going to tell you where real estate's going to go because, if people are willing to spend $1,500 a night, like, and I'll use Aranao as example to go up there and they love it up there. Like what's stopping them from building something or developing something up there?
Well, it doesn't the monetization of most things, the cash flowing of most things ultimately come back to the room night value.
Yep.
So, I mean, Airbnb changed everything in this front. Um, I mean, people have just gotten used to the notion of you travel somewhere, and if you need two rooms, you're considering an Airbnb.
Yeah.
So then for your typical investor type, your second home income investor type, it became much more of a business decision than necessarily a pure passion play.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you're not looking at the data and thinking that everyone's competing for heads and beds, then you're delusional.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. What trends are you seeing currently in Costa Rica that you think are going to shape the future of tourism here?
Oh, let me get my magic 8 ball.
I mean,
Uh,
you and I
Look,
chat about apart hotels.
yeah, I don't even necessarily know that that's customer driven. I think that's more we're trying to figure out these new capitalization models of tourism development. One trend that I think is here and I hope is here to stay is extended stay travel. I know you work when you're traveling. I certainly work when I'm traveling. I think being able to go places and plunk down and go, I'm going to sit here for 10 days, but I'm also going to work a little bit. My wife will work a couple days. I'll work a couple days. I think that's changing. So hotels are going to have to get better about having workspaces. Vacation rentals are going to have to get better about having workspaces. I think that's going to be as big of a request in the future as, do you have a decent gym? So that's, I think, one. This retreats thing is not going away.
Yep.
And I would almost define that as like theme specific hotels, but the theme can change every week. So you have these TEDx type groups, people who have a following of any sort.
Yep.
Instead of more like internet influencers, you have more like cultural influencers. groups of scientists or doctors or artists who take over properties. I don't think that's going away. Certainly all the wellness stuff, the digital detox. Um, the thing that I think is kind of funny is sort of the adult summer camp vibe. I'm sure somebody's come up with a better name for that, but I think some of these retreats kind of cater to that. The people who want to regress to a simpler time or
Yep.
revert to a simpler time. So I think there's just more niches than ever. Maybe farm to table, volunteering, conservation, but I'm really into the longer stays thing. I really hope Westerners decide that you can vacation more and it doesn't have to be purely vacation time. Like,
Yeah,
don't
I
just come
agree.
down for 5 nights. Come down for 10 and work a couple. It can be
Yeah,
done.
I agree. What's your, because I mean, we're pushing heavy on our side, into these vacation rentals with hotel amenities, this blend between the two. You think that
So,
that's something that's here to stay, or that, like, I know the country needs it more?
I mean, I guess the real question, sort of in the channel analogy, would be who's going to figure it out first? Are the real estate guys going to figure out how to be hoteliers? Or are the hoteliers going to figure out how to be real estate guys? And gals, of course.
Yep.
So if you're purely developing spec homes somewhere, you better have a hospitality piece, like a
Yeah.
real one. And if you're going to build a 600 room resort, you'd better have some real estate for sale.
Yeah.
So I think the lines between these entities is going to get blurred. And for the ones who don't know the other side of the game, you better subcontract that or go hire that expertise. But this is
Yeah.
what everybody wants and expects. And geez, I mean, when you rent a 6 bedroom villa in Costa Rica and you drop $50,000 over Christmas or New Year's, you expect to dial zero and get service.
Correct. Or have someone there full time.
Yeah, you're only dazzled by the floor to ceiling windows for the first couple of hours.
Yep.
After that, you want service.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, I mean, what advice would you give? I mean, a lot of people out there, of course, bought, vacation rentals or hotels. You spend a lot of time speaking to people with hotels. That's just the tourism industry. I mean, what advice would you give to people based on current market conditions on, making sure that their product is at the forefront, how to market it, like what not to do? Because it's going to, I mean, if demand is 7-8% down and supply still continues to grow, I mean, this could become very tricky.
Well, and then you don't forget the other part, uh, exchange rate.
Yeah.
So everybody's cost basis now, at least in Costa Rica, is tougher than ever. So you have a pretty hard floor on what you can charge. That's unique. Back in the old days, you could slash your rates down to $99 a night and still survive.
Yeah.
But boy, I mean, what's inflation been down here over the last 2, 3 years? 40%?
I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, that's
It's
that's
nuts.
just the exchange rate. We're not talking about the cost of goods, of course. That's just exchange rate.
Yeah, so you probably all baked in maybe 50% increase in 36 months. I mean, that's
Yep.
that's nuts. And that
Yep.
and that shows no sign of relenting. So I'd say number one, you better know your numbers. Like you need to know your cost structure, you need to know your break even, you need to know your competitor numbers. You need to understand the basics of revenue management, which I think a lot of folks don't, and I think a lot of folks misuse revenue management. And then second, as far as distribution goes, I'm biased because I'm a marketer and a travel agency, but you'd better be omni-channel. And by that I mean you need to know every single distribution method and use them all.
Yeah.
And now the channel management tools, even for small properties and individual vacation rentals, they're good. So you should be distributing your inventory to everybody you can, and you should be dialing your rates up and down on occasion to meet demand.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing that you say channel manager and the property management. And we just installed one. I mean, we're already managing like 4 or 5 properties at the moment. We just went, through the whole process there and opening those channels up, whether that be to you guys, direct Airbnbs, VRBOs, etc. But
And
I
there's a
guess
sweet spot, right? And you can
there is.
probably also fiddle with it too much, or like over optimize, I would
You,
assume, right?
yeah, yeah. Like the OTAs, use them more last minute, because it's more of a lower quality of client than it is that you would get direct or through the agencies. But it just amazes me, case of just like how people forget about the agency business in Costa Rica. Like it's all OTAs, 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 and just forget how
Boy,
big that industry is.
Rich, it didn't, because that's never really been my world, even though that's a significant part of our business and growing. I didn't really understand it until I went to the Virtuoso show in Vegas, and they had four major resorts filled. The main ballroom, they had, the all three ballrooms with the walls taken out. You're talking about, I don't know what, 10,000 agents, luxury agents from one consortium that all descends on Vegas once a year. So, and just that group might be 10% of the trade. I mean, you're talking about billions and billions of dollars of transactions that, particularly at the high end, are really being decided by humans. So
Yep.
while it's very easy to fall in love with technology and the direct to consumer through whatever channel, the really high end taste making is happening one client at a time.
Yep. Well, and
And
I
that
think
and I was ignorant to that.
Well, and I think that's just part of the industry that's kind of ignored, if that makes sense, because it is a one-to-one thing, but like it's a relationship-based business. And like I mean, I do some consulting to property management companies because, and them, where I'm like, guys, you need to be connected into the travel industry. It's a huge part of the business here, and it's just,
It's an ocean, Richard. It's an
yep,
absolute ocean. And you kind of need a good sea captain,
yep,
and those are your trade representatives. And there's a good dozen of those who really understand and know Costa Rica, who go to these trade shows on your behalf, or talk to the press on your behalf, or go visit travel agencies on your behalf. But it's an ocean, man. It is so big.
yeah. What product do you think Costa Rica needs more of? I mean, we've got enough villas, we've got enough kind of just regular hotel rooms. I mean, what do you think the client might be asking for, or stuff that you've seen where you're like, that's pretty cool? I think there needs to be more of that in Costa Rica.
Unfortunately, I think because of the market conditions of the last few years, meaning the exchange rate, whatnot, everybody seems to have all gone for the 6-star traveler. And I completely get it. Like, why not? But I think it's kind of come at the detriment of the entry-level traveler who in 3 to 5 years comes back with some more money
Yeah.
or comes back with their parents. I think we've almost priced out, say, your honeymooner. Somebody in their late 20s, early 30s who's just getting started out. I don't know where they would stay here now. So I really think we need more cabins, Airbnbs in funky places. We need places for your entry-level tourist who can come down and have an awesome time. Dare I even say more of your European or Canadian style traveler who's going to come down for 2 weeks. But just one level, we need a level above hosteling
Yep.
that someone figures out the economics. And I
Yeah.
realize what I'm asking for is tough, but
Well, it can
I
be
mean, if you're,
done.
yeah, and
Containers.
if you're 90% occupied at a reasonably good rate, and your rooms are simple and small but good, I think there's market for that here now. And again, I feel bad for these millennials and Gen Zs or whoever's all after that. Like, you can't come here now.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I mean, it's domes, it's containers, it's tents, it's like it's that quick
And
for,
and and those
yeah,
and those folks love that, right?
yeah,
And the nice thing about those less permanent structures, let's call them, the owner can change their mind. They can take them down, they can move them, they can upgrade them later, they can make permanent
yeah,
structures. But I think, and you kind of see the individual micro hotelier, your guy with 3 Airbnbs. I think they're figuring it out and filling this gap. But I think we're going to need more glamping, and glamping plus, maybe
yep,
simple cabins all over Costa Rica in more affordable places, or maybe more ticos who've sat on family land. We need more options for people who don't have $350 a night.
yeah, I agree, I agree. What are the areas of Costa Rica that you think still have untapped potential when it comes to, I'm going to say tourism rather than real estate? Because again, if tourism drives real estate, then tourism comes first. What are the areas where you're just like, I think this might be a gold mine?
Well, that northern zone, where you're starting to see like Toku Tent Camp that
Yep,
the Hamilton family just completed up there. They're no dummies. They know what they're
yep,
doing, and I just sense that thing's going to go well. Origins that's up there, I think is ultimately going to do well. So I think that the northern zone up towards Nicaragua, big, beautiful, lots of land, not that expensive, close enough to the Liberia airport. The southern Nicoya, those, the lesser explored parts of Nicoya. You and I both love Marbella and everything around there, even though it's tricky. Heading back up to that mountainside and that ridge still seems like it has lots of potential. But now you're basically stuff that caters to surfers with money.
Yep.
I think we have this weird connotation that surfers are all broke, but I think there's plenty of tech bros who pine for the days when they were 19 and there was nobody else around. So I think finding those secret spots and catering to them is always going to do well. I'm completely biased that the central Cordillera Central, the central mountain chain, still needs more stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we need more mountain stuff to go with all these beaches. And right now you're really just talking about Monteverde and Arenal La Fortuna. I think we need a couple more.
Yeah, yeah.
Those would be the places that I would look if I wanted to sort of like take a punt.
Yeah. Would there be any areas that you'd just avoid at the moment?
Anywhere that's building condo towers. I
Yeah.
think once you start to get into condo tower zone and institutional investment starts to flood in, there's always a potential for the bottom to fall out. And I don't just mean on the resale market, I also mean on that nightly rate market.
Yeah. I mean, that's my concern for Hacko.
Yep. And I think there's a slight danger there in parts of Tamarindo. As soon as the cranes start going up, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Case, this has been great. My last question for you that I love to ask everyone. If you inherited $500,000 and you had to invest it into a business or real estate in Costa Rica, what would you invest it in and why?
I think right now I would probably remain asset light. I don't think I would buy anything because everything's so expensive right now.
Yep.
I think I would probably focus more on some sort of emerging technology, maybe something AI, maybe something data analytics that focuses on revenue management or rate maximization for property management, for vacation rentals. So I would look in something to service maybe somebody who's got 5 vacation rentals is like, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah.
But staying in that intellectual digital space.
Well,
And then, if once you've mastered that and you found some maybe gaps in the data, maybe then you go and invest in a little Airbnb somewhere that's underserviced.
Well, I mean, just the amount of data that you could gather, as you mentioned there, from doing that, but also is just interconnecting, as you mentioned there, that luxury market of like, there is no connection in there. Like you have to physically go and know people, if that makes sense.
It's wild, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, look, if it's true that information's the new oil, the oil field down here is in that weird place we keep talking about where real estate overlaps with tourism, and then trying to see if there's some data to be arbitraged. There's some gaps in there somewhere. There's something somebody's not seeing.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Well, Case, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. Appreciate you taking the time to join us and share your experience and knowledge with us. And thanks very much, buddy.
Thanks, Richard. Always a pleasure chatting.
No worries. Bye. I hope you enjoyed that insightful podcast there from Casey. I mean, I don't know many people that know the tourism industry here as well as Casey. We were business partners together. We still are in many things, but in the agency for 18 years, and he's been in the industry 25 years and like more the luxury industry here. So just has a very unique viewpoint in it. And I agree with many of the points that he makes there. So it's going to be interesting to see how, this kind of rolls out this year, but I think you're probably looking anywhere, a 7, 8, I'd say anywhere from 6 to 10% decline this year, just in tourism. And it's probably worldwide, to be honest with you guys. I mean, I think just, everyone's just taking a bit of a pause, trying to get an idea of like what's going on here. And, that's not good for anyone, unfortunately. And may create more stress for people. And maybe that'll come with a bounce back at some point when there is a little bit more stability and more travel like post-pandemic, but we will see. But anyway, guys, if you're enjoying the podcast, I'd very much appreciate you just giving a like or subscribing to this or a great review, guys, just online. Again, a lot of effort goes into this from myself and other people here. And it just shows them kind of, I would say thanks on your part for doing this. So, and we appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to these podcasts every single week as well. Remember, if you're looking to do anything here in Costa Rica, there's not much we haven't done or that we aren't doing, guys. We're a pain in the butt not for you, but usually the people on the other end, just making sure that, we wouldn't let you do anything that we wouldn't do ourselves, trying to give you a little bit perspective, and just so you can make a little bit of an informed decision here, guys. So if you're doing anything here in Costa Rica, whether that's investing, developing, buying, or just want to chat with us about something, you're just about in the process of buying, thinking about it, this location, want to get our thoughts. Again, in the description down below, you can use a link there, guys, for a free consultation with us there, no obligation. Or you can email us info@investingcostarica.com. That's info@investingcostarica.com. Or just go into Google and type in my name, Richard Beckson, and you'll probably find it come up there anyway, guys. But appreciate your time. You guys behave yourself, and we'll see you on the next podcast. Bye.
The #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.